Hey, this is tape number 2. I'm going to try to make this a lot quicker. Okay, I put up a documentary on Lester Roloff. It's 4 parts. It's called They Stood. And I've listened to hours and hours and hours of Peter Ruckman, and the only person I've ever heard Peter Ruckman say anything nice about is Lester Roloff. So when I watched that documentary, I was very interested to see what kind of man he was. And I'm not going to judge the whole man based upon that one documentary, but that one documentary makes him look very bad, very cowardly actually. If you think about those 4 parts, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's called They Stood. And if you want to go check it out, go check it out. It's a little piece of Texas history. But he invites all his Baptist preacher friends into the church, and he said, I'm going to stand up to the government. I'm going to stand for freedom. He talks about the flag. He talks about Stonewall Jackson. Talks about George Washington and Patrick Henry and Paul Revere. And he talks about you can't serve the Bible and you can't serve government at the same time. And he makes this big grandiose speech with 300 preachers in the audience. Okay? And he even brings up a dude, a soldier guy in a white uniform. And the soldier dude gets up in front of the pulpit and says, in a world of give and take, where are the men who gives what it takes? You know, and everybody's like, yay, yay, go, go. And then all the preachers have to go home. They stayed there 3 or 4 days, right? And then they all went home. And then the government sends in their agents. And then Lester Roloff, what's he do? What's he do at the end of all this, right? He gets in front of the camera and he pulls over that, you know, there's 40, 50 girls in that choir that were singing. There's only one of them that are black. Lester Roloff pulls over the black girl because he wants to promote multiculturalism, I guess. You know, that's what the government does, is panders to multiculturalism. You know, he's got to pander to the audience. He's got to go get out of the 40 white girls that he had singing in that choir, and one of them were black. When the press comes with the TV cameras, he's got to pull over the black girl, right? And then he just bawls and cries. They're shutting down my home, and they're taking all the girls. They're putting the girls on the street. First of all, if you're going to make a grandiose speech and say you're going to stand up against the government, then you should stand up against the government, right? You should be willing to make a stand, and you should be willing to put your money where your mouth is and do what you're going to say you were going to do. But instead he caved into pressure, right? And I got to say that I don't want to judge Lester Roloff his whole life based upon that one documentary, but that one documentary made him look very bad, you know. And I'll just say that, first of all, I think he should have gone ahead and get the license. Look, if it's just you all by yourself, if it's just you, and you want to go down in a blazing flame of glory, you go for it, right? But if you got 50 girls that are supposed to be the #1 priority, and they're going to be thrown out on the street, we'll go ahead and sign the license, and then fight it in court, right? But don't let the government shut you down and throw the girls out on the street when all you had to do was get a license. I'm not for government licenses, right? Don't get me wrong. But Lester Roloff should have humiliated himself before he let the government throw those girls out in the street, right? But he put his own pride and his own, I'm going to make a big stand, and he didn't even make a big stand. When it boiled down to it, he ended up crying with a black girl hugging on him in front of the TV cameras, and they shut him down anyway, right? Where's like, I'm going to take a stand, and you're going to have to cross my dead body before you shut this place down. I didn't see none of that. I was very disappointed in Lester Roloff and how he handled that situation. Now, I don't know much about the man. He might have done some other things that, you know, I would be proud of, but in that particular documentary, I was very disappointed. It reminds me of Ron Paul. Ron Paul said, I'm a defender of the Constitution, right? I've been in the Congress. I've been promoting libertarian views for decades. Come to me and I'll vote for me and I'll defend the Constitution. Article 2, Section 1, natural born citizen. Mr. Ron Paul, Mr. Defender of the Constitution. Ron Paul is a cowardly old man. Ron Paul doesn't deserve anybody to follow him anywhere. Ron Paul needs to be beat, tarred and feathered. I don't even, you know, I'm ashamed that I'm from Texas because Ron Paul is from Texas. And Ron Paul is a sickening, cowardly piece of crap for not saying something about Obama's birth certificate. I got no use for Ron Paul. And Lester Roloff in that documentary, he didn't impress me either. And anyway, I just wanted one video where I collected my thoughts, and you're welcome to have a different opinion, but that's mine. May God bring justice to the wicked people of the world.